A big brother is supposed to be a hero, the one person who keeps his little sister safe no matter what. But what happens when a video game becomes more important than a real life? Today, we're looking at the chilling story of Matthias, a boy who was so hooked on Roblox that he didn't hear his sister walk out the front door and into a total nightmare. It's a tragic reminder of how one no can change everything. This is the story of a boy named Matthias. He was 12 years old and had a little sister named Luciana, who was 6 years old. Matthias had to take care of her because their parents went to work every day. On one of those many days when their parents went to work and left Matthias and Luciana alone, as was part of their daily routine, Matthias spent all his time playing Roblox, specifically a game that has been very popular lately called Steal a Brainrot. This game had him completely hooked. He didn't want to miss a single admin update or get distracted by anything. The boy would put on his headphones, close the door to his room, and forget about the outside world. He was only focused on the Roblox game and the call with his friends, especially his best friend Juan, who was also his neighbor since they lived in the same neighborhood. And guys, remember Juan, okay? Remember him because later he will be very important. So, on one of those days when Matthias had the house to himself with his little sister, since their parents always went to work and came back very late, Luciana, a very curious girl who was always seeking attention, tried to get her older brother's attention. She approached the door of his room and called out to him, saying, "Matthias, can we play? Can you teach me how to play your little game?" Matthias replied with a no and told her to go away. That little word no repeated itself several times in the girl's mind. Being a child, she began to feel like she didn't matter, like she was nothing. Luciana tried to show him her drawings, tell him something that happened at school, or simply keep him company. But Matthias didn't react. The headphones and the screen were his entire world. It was as if he didn't care about his sister. Then Luciana came up with an idea that she wished she had never thought of. Tired of being ignored by her brother all the time, Luciana walked up to the front door of her house, opened it, and went outside. There was no one to stop her because her brother was busy playing Steal a Brainrot. The street was full of sounds, cars passing by, dogs barking, drivers honking their horns, and kids playing here and there. Luciana didn't know exactly where to go since she was very small and didn't even know her neighborhood. All she wanted was to explore and feel like she was doing something exciting, because at home, no one paid attention to her. She walked several blocks without direction, and with every step, she got farther away from her house. Luciana was holding a little doll in her hand, one that always accompanied her everywhere. It was a doll with black hair and slightly purple clothes. With all the innocence in the world, she started crossing the streets without looking to either side. Meanwhile, Matthias was still sitting in front of his computer. He didn't realize anything. He was so focused that he didn't even notice the house had gone silent. About 20 minutes later, Luciana, without understanding the dangers of the street, had approached a busy avenue. Cars were passing at high speed. It was one of those very wide roads where trucks and all kinds of vehicles pass. There was no one nearby at that moment who could stop her. At that moment, Luciana saw something that caught her attention. It was a small stand selling colorful balloons, those balloons shaped like animals and things like that. Without calculating any risk, her eyes lit up when she saw the colorful balloons, and she ran across the road. While Luciana was running, a car was just about, run her over, but it managed to brake suddenly. However, behind that car was another vehicle that couldn't stop in time. Since it was right behind the first car, it crashed into it and pushed it toward the girl. When the crash was heard, many people rushed to help the girl. Others called emergency services, but the damage had already been done. The driver got out of the car, desperate, unable to believe what had happened. Meanwhile, Matthias continued playing Roblox. While his little sister was crossing the road, running without any safety measures, Matthias was playing Roblox in the comfort of his home. At that moment, Matthias is said to have felt that something was wrong, that something was happening, but he didn't pay attention to that feeling and decided to keep playing Roblox with his friend Juan. And then, from one moment to the next, His own friend Juan told him, "Hey, what about your sister?" That simple question made him take off his headphones for the first time in hours and run out of his room. He searched the living room, the kitchen, all the bedrooms, everywhere. Luciana wasn't there. His heart was beating extremely fast, and the only thing he saw was the open door. Without thinking, he ran out into the street and saw a lot of people gathered in the distance, sirens approaching. Matthias felt an emptiness in his stomach, as if he already knew the truth. He ran toward where several people and police officers were gathered, and the scene froze him. There was his little sister lying on the ground, with her doll still in her hands. The ambulance had arrived, along with many medical professionals, but everyone, absolutely everyone, already knew there was nothing that could be done. Matthias was completely paralyzed. He watched as they placed his little sister onto the stretcher, surrounded by a bunch of strangers. Everyone started looking at Matthias because the whole neighborhood already knew that little girl was his sister. But Matthias was simply in shock and had no reaction at all. Until suddenly, an idea came into his mind. Juan, his best friend, had mentioned his sister right when she was already out on the street, crossing with cars going at full speed. At that moment, the only thing he could think was that Juan was to blame for everything that was happening. He ran straight to Juan's house to try to find him, and when he arrived, he realized that what he was thinking of doing was completely crazy, and that Juan surely had nothing to do with this. He was just trying to find someone to blame, when the real culprit was himself. Matthias returned to the same road where they were picking up his little sister and understood that from now on, he would never again hear his little sister, neither her laughter, nor her cries, nor a single word inviting him to play with her, all because he had ignored her. The parents arrived later, and obviously, there's no need to even explain what they did, because they were devastated. And Matthias couldn't stop repeating in his mind, "If only I had paid attention to her and played with her, she never would have gone out." That entire day and the rest of the week, the whole neighborhood fell silent. Many said that you could no longer even hear children playing in the neighborhood, only some dogs barking and a few people leaving for work. Although no one directly blamed Matthias, deep inside, he knew that the real culprit was him, and that he had lost the most valuable thing in his life. Guys, with this video, I'm not trying to blame Roblox, nor make the game look bad. I want to make that very clear. I genuinely love Roblox, and millions of people enjoy it every day without any problems. The issue here was never the game itself. It was what was ignored in real life. This story was about a player who didn't realize the responsibility he had. A brother who thought saying later didn't matter. A moment where a game felt more important than family. And sadly, that one moment led to consequences that could never be taken back. The lesson here is simple but important. Games are fun. Friends are fun. But real life always comes first, especially when someone depends on you. If you have a younger sibling, a responsibility, or someone who looks up to you, never forget that your attention can matter more than you think. Sometimes, all it takes is a few minutes of care to prevent a lifetime of regret. So please, enjoy games, enjoy Roblox, but don't forget to look around you. Talk to your family, check on your siblings, because once a moment is gone, you can never replay it. If this story made you think, make sure to subscribe right now and activate the bell so you don't miss more videos like this. Your support really helps the channel grow.